Hey everyone, today I'm creating 19 unique cards using the July 2025 SheetLoad of card template from Call Me Crafty. I am part of the creative team, and so we have a link below to the playlist where you can see what everybody has created using the sketch, and you often find that we create things that look completely different, so I highly recommend that you check it out. I have decided to make a slight adjustment to the sketch today, and I'm going to use a 5¼ by 4 inch matting layer, and I'm going to use craft cardstock. So you can see on the right hand side that there's already a pile under those bright coloured striped strips, and I'm going to use those for all of the cards today. I normally try and mix it up and have different tones and colours, but today I'm going to do a different style of card by using different coloured strips underneath the focal point in the middle of the card. Now, I have this box of leftovers, which is very unique. Most people would not store their scraps this way, and I probably wouldn't have it this organised either, except that the project I was working at the time resulted in 1½ inch strips being left from all of the cardstock and pattern paper that I was using. So I've just wrapped some paper around them so they stay together by design, and I have put them into that scrapbooking paper box. So it works absolutely perfect for me, and I'm working my way through that box. There used to be 2 layers of scraps, and now I'm just down to 1 layer, so I feel like I'm making a bit of progress. Before I created my bulk cards, I decided to try out the sketch and make sure my idea of having an extra layer would work. So I'm just using some of this striped paper here, and because it's 1½ inches, I'm able to cut it down into 1 inch and a ½ inch strip, and then that creates the little element that goes on the feature on the front of the card, and then also the strips that go behind the pattern paper. Now, the card sketch itself has strips of 1 inch paper, and then you just put a little tab on the ends, and then you overlay it with your pattern paper so you can't see that there's a gap underneath. I was deciding to be a little bit lazy because I was bulk making cards, and I decided to just run the strip the whole way across and then layer the extra pieces on top. So if you follow the card sketch, it will give you instructions on how you can save your pretty pattern paper and use less of it for your project. But again, I have so many of these strips, I really want to use them up, and I was just really unsure about chopping everything down and fiddling with so many small pieces. Now you can see here I'm trying out my design. The pattern paper that I've put with the striped paper is not how it's going to be moving forward, but I just cut it to the right size just to make sure the dimensions were looking okay. I then did a lot of creating offline. So I didn't record what I was doing. And while I was watching a movie or working on something else, I actually sat down with my strips of paper and I attached them to my little white panels and to my backing layers. And I have made sure that I have the same number of white rectangles with a strip across it as the number of card matting layers with the stripes. So here you can see I was creating 6 of the orange dots. And then for these teal ones here, I believe I have 3. So I got 3 out of 1 of the strips of 1/2 inch, which means I have quite a few of the 1/2 inch strips off the side to my desk for another project later on. I will need to figure out the best way to use those. Bulk style, this was a really quick project, and I ended up using up quite a few of my scraps. When I'm working through doing this and adding it to the matting layer in the craft, and this matches the 5 by 4¼ inch, 5¼ by 4 inch backing panel. I trim off any excess so that if I haven't put the little element down perfectly, it still looks centered. So no cut is going to be absolutely perfect every single time. So just trimming them up a little bit before I finalize the project is super helpful. Because I have 4 piles of different colours, I've decided that I'm going to use my scraps of 6 by 6 pattern papers today. And when I say scraps, I have a box of mixed paper rose papers, and working through them, trying to find something that has a teal highlight element was a little bit tricky. But the ones with the gorgeous little animals is a very unique choice, but I love how it really highlights just some of the little elements that are on the little animals. It's not teal with teal. So as I'm working through, you can see I'm like flicking through, flicking back, flicking through, trying to figure out the best way to do it. The check pattern I think is pretty cool. And then this one here, I was a little bit undecided because it is teal with teal. But with the paper itself, it has a really lovely gradient to it. So when I put it on top of the craft cardstock, it came up really nicely. It does mean that I end up with 3 quite different color combinations. So when I add the ephemera, I'm going to be able to make some really fun choices. If you're enjoying the video, it would be fantastic if you could hit the like button. That is how YouTube knows to share the video with more viewers, and especially new viewers. And if you are already subscribed, then thank you. And if not, maybe consider hitting the subscribe button also. So I'm going to show you in a moment all of the different color combinations. I didn't show all of the gluing and the sticking because I think that can get a little bit boring for a viewer, but I am showing putting together all of the different color combinations so that you can see what I put with each stripe. So here I've got the coffee cups, and then I've got this one here, which looks like I think it's leaves and an autumn style. And then that one's the green wood grain. And then I've got some pink wood grain. So I've gone a little bit bold with my choices. And because there's the rectangle on top, you kind of see, I don't know, maybe half of the pattern paper just around the edges. And I tried to just make sure each card looked quite different, which, given I wasn't using one paper pack today, I was using loads from different paper sets from Paper Rose. It meant that really they did all end up looking different, and it was quite easy to do. This orange one was probably the trickiest to find the pattern papers, but you can see there with one of them I just picked something that was straight black, and I knew that I'd be able to find some ephemera to add to it. The one here, which is the pink and purple and yellow stripes, I have picked really mainly pinks and sort of dark pinks, almost red. And so I think I'll be able to create some great cards with these once I pull out all of my paper die cuts, again from Paper Rose. So I think if you've watched any of my previous videos, you would know that I have some mystery boxes that came from around a Black Friday sale, and I have been loving using these. I get to create lots and lots of unique looks, and I am not even part way through. Like, honestly, there is so many left. I'm going to be able to make loads and loads more cards. So here I've got me picking out what I'm going to add to each card. And again, I haven't gone through and shown you all of these choices because it took me quite a while to do it. But what I have done is I have got a bit of a flip through here for you so that I show each of the cards one by one. And you can see that the style of the cards are all quite different. I used leftover sentiments from my sentiment stash. Some of them are thank yous, some of them are just because, some of them are birthday. But they are an absolute eclectic mix. And I was really just practicing trying to be a little bit bold with my color choices and see if I could create something that used up my stash without me breaking into anything new. Lots of teals, lots of pretty colors, some really nice bright bold ones there with that one from the yellow. Which one is your favorite? I'd love to know as you're looking through these, which is your favorite. And with these ones here with the butterflies, would you like to see a video where I show you how I create the butterflies? I have put a video here that I think you might enjoy. Have a great day.